This is just a little PSA for the girlies. If you have friends that get upset or intimidated by you when you don't tell them every single thing that's going on in your life, these are not your friends. These people are called secret haters, and they're in a one-sided competition with you at all times. And the reason why they get so upset when you keep things private and they don't know every little thing about you is because it's harder for them to figure you out, one. And two, they don't have the tools to one-up you in their one-sided competition. So this is just a reminder to beware of people like this, because there are so many out there. Evil eye is so real, so keep things to yourself. Set some boundaries.
The easiest way to tell if somebody's your friend or not is how they handle conflict with you. It's not how well they support you when things go well, and it's not how well they support you when things go wrong. I know people like to say, oh, how your friends show up for you when you're winning is how you know if they're gonna. No. I will say, if they don't know how to handle conflict with you, everything else that they've done up until this point is invalidated. If somebody cannot handle a difficult conversation with you, that person was never your friend. Because there are some people who only like the friendship to the extent that they feel good about it. So as soon as you bring up something that makes them not feel good about themselves or good about the friendship, all of a sudden you're painted as a problematic one and a danger, and now you're unsafe, when all you did was bring up something that maybe they just don't want to hear. They will get in hyper defensive mode. People that are conflict avoidant are not people that you should be friends with. The friendship will not last, it doesn't have longevity, and you will be gaslit and made into thinking that you're the problematic one, you're the one causing drama, when all you wanted to do was to establish clarity and communicate boundaries. Because here's the thing, anybody that wants to still be your friend will let you know what you've done and will communicate what should be done differently, okay? People that like you are going to express when you hurt them. People that don't like you are just going to respond in a way to harm you, or they're just going to move funny. I have seen without fail that conflict avoidant people, the friendship won't stand. You guys cannot handle conflict. There will come a day where there's a blowout and you will now see the person's true colors. You don't know the person's true colors until there's conflict. Everything else you're seeing is just smoke and mirrors, you guys.
After being physically attacked by my new best friend, these are friendship red flags I would never ignore. Bad-mouthing you to your partner in any way, shape, or form. It's the first time you're meeting my man. Why are you thinking to just come and say all the negative things that you think about me that you've never said to me before? That should have rung more alarm bells. Criticisms and insults decorated as jokes. It's not a joke, girl, because it's gonna come out in an argument. Anytime I'd get dressed up, I'd hear, who do you think you are? Who does this girl think she is? This girl thinks she's all that, you know? Thinking that it's a light-hearted joke, it was not a light-hearted joke. Those were true feelings. So listen to jokes, listen very carefully. Being intentionally quiet about your achievements. That's like one of the main signs somebody's competing with you. If it's a thing where you can only discuss achievements if they're achieving, run. Feeling the urge or the need to embarrass and humiliate you in front of people that are celebrating you. So say you're being complimented or the attention is on you in any way, and that's the moment that they feel to drop something to try and humiliate you. I should have opened these more.
One of the biggest friendship red flags to pay attention to is the neutral friend. Now, this mostly applies to friend groups, and whenever there's conflict between two people and you have that friend that doesn't want to get involved and just wants to remain neutral. I've talked about this on my page before, but when I was in college, I had a friend group and I found out that one of my friends was talking poorly about me behind my back and threatening me, and my other friends decided to remain neutral. And if you have a friend who wants to remain neutral in situations like this, that shows me a couple things. One, that you would rather keep the peace than stand up for what's right. So two, your moral compass is flawed. And three, you're not my friend. Now, it's different when you have a friend who wants everyone involved to come to a resolution and take accountability. That is a good friend. But when your friend decides to remain neutral in situations where you are clearly being disrespected and wronged, that is a red flag, and that is not your friend.
Guess what, you guys? It's actually not that hard to tell if somebody hates you. You just have to listen to them. Like, I'm uniquely and unfortunately very qualified to talk about this because I was friends with some women who really hated my guts at different points in my life. But here are some ways that you can tell if a friend just really does not like you. Number one, their rules do not apply to you. They can apply to everyone else, but they do not apply to you. Here's an example. Everyone else can be late and be forgiven. You have to be on time, because if you're not on time, it's an argument. It's okay for other people to disagree with them, but if you disagree with them, now it's beef. You think you're being singled out because you're closer to them or you're their best friend. No, babe, it's because they don't like you. They might love you, they don't like you. Two, they don't believe things happen for you, just to you. What do you mean by that, Ashley? Like, your relationship is a fairy tale, your life is a fairy tale. You got lucky with that job, you're so lucky to find this apartment. Not that you worked for it or that you were a good person and you deserved it. Nope, it just happened to you because they don't see you as being worthy of some of the things that you have. Three, a backhanded compliment. Babe, I remember I was with my close friend at the time. We were with some guy that I had dated and I had liked. And I had a sew-in in my hair and I was feeling myself. It was probably like my second sew-in and my hair was flowing down my back and it was cute. Why would she turn to that man and say, doesn't Ashley look better with her hair naturally curly? I mean, if I do, the curls are not in my head right now. You need to be able to distinguish a compliment from a backhanded compliment. And four, this is also tough when you have long-term friends, but if you talk about bettering yourself and then you actually put yourself in a position to better yourself and it really pisses them off. And when I started content creating years ago, one of my best friends at the time muted me on Instagram immediately. She just said she didn't want to see it. I'm posting pictures of my hair. But honestly, she manifested it for me because maybe she thought I'd be successful, and now look at me, successful. The moral of the story is discernment. You need to be able to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly as they were happening so you can keep the right people around you and not people that hate your guts. I hope that you don't have to experience this, and I hope that you can't relate, but if you do, I hope this was helpful.
Here are the biggest red flags in female friendships that are not talked about enough that I learned the hard way, so hopefully you don't have to. This is the highly requested part 2. Number 1 is if you are ever friends with someone who is constantly talking shit about people and then still hanging out with them. It is one thing to talk shit about someone that you truly don't like, whatever, we all do it, still not the best. But if you have a friend and they're constantly talking shit about people and then be like, ugh, but I'm hanging out with her tomorrow, it's like, bruh, like that is a fake ass person. If they're talking shit about their other friends, they're talking shit about you. Learn that one the hard way. Number 2, which I feel like is never talked about, is people who are super disrespectful to their parents. I feel like growing up, we all had that friend that was so rude to their parents, and they had the nicest parents, and you would sit there and listen to them talk to their parents, and you would be like, I would get my ass beat for this. There are people who I swear still to this day have not outgrown that. If you meet someone like that, cut them off immediately because it is a sign that they're just so immature and disrespectful and a brat, and you don't need that in your life. Number 3 is friends who make you feel like you literally need to be their mommy all the time. Once in a while, we all have our bad moments, but when you get to college, you will meet people who prioritize all of the wrong things all the time. They act like idiots, they get drunk, they do stupid things, they don't go to class, like they just have nothing together in like their life. And we all have those moments, but for someone to be draining you all the time and never saying thank you, never appreciating it, like almost being mad at you for trying to help them get together, like leave them alone. They can figure it out for themselves. Being friends with someone like that is just not good for you. You can't save everyone and help everyone get their shit together, and the sooner you realize that, especially in college, the better off you are. Number 4 is friends who don't respect your time. These are the friends who will be like, oh yeah, I'll be there in 20 minutes, and then aren't there for an hour and a half, or friends who will bail on you for their boyfriend, bail on you for other plans, more fun stuff comes out, and they don't want to hang out with you. Just people who have a total lack of respect for any of your time and are always bailing on you or just making you wait. Get better friends. There are friends who will not do that to you.
Every cutoff don't need a conversation, and that's just how I feel. Yes, people do be knowing what they doing, right? Like, that's one reason. You don't have to have a conversation because people know what they be doing. Also, sometimes people don't know what they be doing, and that's the problem. The fact that I have to teach you that that was wrong or weird is the problem itself. Therefore, we don't need to have a conversation. Because as women, right? Let's talk about friendships amongst women. As women, we are always talking about not wanting to raise a man or coach a man to be your man, right? I don't want to coach a grown woman either. I don't want to have to spoon feed you girl code. You should know it. You should know it. Now, some things I'm okay with teaching you. Some things I'm okay with being like, all right, sis, I ain't like that. That was a bit weird. You feel me? Whatever. Because you do have to get to know people, right? You have to get to know what my expectations are, my standards, my boundaries, so on and so forth, right? Like, just like I have to get to know you and what you like and what you don't like. But some stuff, I feel like it should be unspoken. And if it's not, that itself is the problem. It's not even a matter of, oh, she knew what she was doing, because she may not have known what she was doing. But the fact that you didn't know that that was wrong is the problem.
If your friend ever does this, don't just walk away, throw them away. My closest friend tried to end the relationship between my now husband. And what's crazy about this story is that she did it in a way that was so sneaky that if I didn't have sense, I would have easily missed it. Now, for context, this friend knew my husband separately from me, right? They had their own established friendship. My husband were dating. This was like literally early days, maybe first 3 weeks of us getting to know each other. Now, it was my friend's birthday, and he wanted to take her out for dinner to say thank you for the business advice she gave earlier that week. Now, at dinner, she asked him a question about what's going on in your love life. And he was like, oh, it's so interesting you asked because I'm dating your friend Chica. Now, the first red flag was she was not happy for me. Right? And he told me that he remembers her face being a little perplexed. There was no like, oh my God, I'm excited for you. Let me give you some tips. Let me help you out. It was very just like, oh, okay. And it kind of moved on to the conversation. Now, fast forward to a week later, me and my husband, we are in my home, and he was on the phone with his best friend. Context, I have not met this best friend because again, this was early days into us dating. The best friend was having a phone conversation with my husband about me. And he essentially was like, hey, I've heard some intel about this new girl you're dating. I think you just need to be careful. And so my husband was like, what do you mean? Like, what is this information? And he said, oh, well, this other guy that's our friend told me that Chica's a grifter. And he was like, grifter? And mind you, when he was telling me this, we had to both look this up because I don't even know what that means. Now, luckily for me, my husband is very intuitive. So when he got that information, he was like, grifter, okay, got it from this guy, interesting. Who told this guy? Because I don't believe this guy is the one that has this information on my girl. And luckily, the best friend was like, you know, it's interesting you say that because you're right. He actually mentioned another name. The other name he now mentions is my friend. And my husband was like, okay? And he acted like he didn't know anything. He was just like, oh, that's very interesting. So when he was now telling me the story of how my friend essentially set me up through this other guy, right? This is like a sniper, right? You know, snipers, you can't see them, right? So she basically used this other guy to hide behind the message she wanted to relay to my husband. And luckily my husband was like, well, I don't care about any of that. I'm locked in with you, but this is something you need to pay attention to because you didn't even know this person was your enemy. And I think this is also another interesting thing to pay attention to. When you have a friend that's jealous of you, they're going to show jealousy in covert ways. You're going to be in a toxic friendship that you didn't even know. So once I found out this information, I'm going to be very honest. I wanted to go roll up to her house. Okay. But my husband was like, no, you need to play this like chess, because at this point, you didn't even know this was happening, but she also does not know you know this information. I said, cool. So a few weeks passed by. She invites me to the anniversary of her company. Honest, I was busy, so I could not attend. But also at the time, this information was too fresh, so I didn't want to show up. Now, fast forward to a few months later, and it was my birthday. I didn't hear from her, right? Didn't hear from her for my birthday. She didn't call me. She didn't text me. And throughout this time period, this was probably like 3 months, our communication was quite limited, right? And so that was also another sign. Now, I think the final sign that was like, okay, this friendship is over and I can move accordingly was a month after my birthday was my introduction. An introduction in the Nigerian culture, specifically Igbo culture, is your husband family does a proposal to your family in order to essentially say, we want to marry your daughter. Now, this is a huge moment. This is a huge milestone. I didn't invite her because clearly she was trying to destroy this relationship. But also, when the introduction happened, and obviously I posted it on my socials, she didn't congratulate, she didn't say nothing. And she knew my husband separately, did not congratulate him either. And the interesting thing about all this is that it's been about 4 years since this has happened, and I've not heard from her. She hasn't said anything, and I didn't even communicate that I knew this information, right? So I think also sometimes people feel like when you get information about your friends, or your friends are talking about you, your friends are jealous of you, you need to confront it. Sometimes you don't gotta say nothing. Sometimes your silence speaks volumes. And my story is a cautionary tale because, to be honest, when I really reflect on the friendship, there's definitely red flags I saw along the way. I think the biggest red flag for me was how she treated other people. She treated people very mean, and I used to defend her and I used to defend her actions. But in hindsight, I think I was delusional, thinking that meanness and how she talks about people wouldn't translate towards me. So if you see any signs like this, y'all, this is not your friend, okay? And you need to move accordingly.
I don't know what it is when a major event takes place in your life, whether it's pregnancy, your wedding, even death. It takes place in your life and people start to show you how they truly feel about you. My father passed away a few weeks ago, and during this tragic time of my life, I see how people truly feel about me. And I've come to the conclusion that I am done not even being considered the bare minimum. I am done with being a doormat. I am done with people not caring about my feelings. I am done with people playing me for a fool. I am done with people thinking it's okay to treat me anyhow. My father doesn't even treat me this way. I'm talking about God. So how dare I take it from man? I am done. Like, I am truly done. It's just something that I had to recognize and be exposed to during this tragic time of my life, and moving forward, know how to move forward with people. The proximity and the access that people once had with me is no longer there. Your access is denied. I'm not going to apologize. I'm also not going to feel bad for the way that I move forward, because people really know what they be doing. I've cried about it. I've took it to God, and the decision I made to just create boundaries and fall back, I feel good about it. Nobody deserves to feel this way, and nobody deserves to go through this with their friends or people that are around them.
Y'all be talking about red flags in relationships. Let's talk about red flags in friendships. Because the signs was there that y'all was gonna fall out. The signs was there. You saw the signs. You knew she had some weird tendencies, and you just let it fly. You let it fly. You was like, that's kind of weird. It's all right. No. Y'all gonna fall out about that weird tendency. I'm telling you right now. I can tell you from experience.
3 things I wish I knew in my early 20s about friendship now that I'm in my 30s. Number 1, if someone is using your accomplishment to poke fun at themselves, for example, your house is nice, but I gotta go back to my little dusty, like, mine is not even like this. Or, I like your outfit. Mine is just, mine is not even all that. Mine just costs like, $5 or whatever. But yours is cute. That's underlying envy disguised as a backhanded compliment. Because in the back of her mind, she's thinking she's not even all that, like. And number 2, sometimes them people not even your friends. Some people like proximity, especially when you carry a light within. You are loved and you are a generous person. Because number 3, the nicer you are, the more you open yourself up to disrespect. Now, I'm not saying don't be nice. I'm saying be picky. Because when you're too generous with your energy and your time, people are a lot quicker to play in your face. Not around here, partner. Not around here.
5 red flags you should look out for in your female friendships. Number 1, the competitors. If your friend is competitive with you, trust me, she wants your life. That is a very big red flag. Number 2, the pick me girl, the girl that wants to be picked by every man. Like, you go out with your friend and then the next thing, oh, I think this man is looking at me. Oh, I think that man wants us to come over to his table. Please, that's a big red flag for me. Number 3, the insecure one. We are meant to shine together. I would not dim my light for you to shine. If you're insecure or you're throwing a birthday party, oh, please don't overdress, Faith, please. Number 4, the ones that are friends with your enemies. Now, let me say this again. If you're my friend and you find out that this person did me dirty, and then you are saying, I did not inherit anyone's enemy, so I'm just friends with this, you are mad. You are mad. I said it, you are mad. Last but not the least, the one that will never compliment you. These are the red flags you should look out for your female friends. Bye.